Hey there everybody, this is PotterBrony and welcome to another blind reaction of Death Battle. This time we have from Death Battle, Weiss Schnee versus Mitsuru. RWBY versus Persona. I don't quite remember what Mitsuru's last name was, or surname was. Okay. When I first heard that Mitsuru was going to be, and I had no idea who she was, apparently she's from Persona. And I have played 5 and 4. I've played 4 Golden on my PlayStation Vita. And I have also downloaded other Persona games, meaning to get to them at some point, but not really sure as to when I would get to them. And I started playing Persona 3 on the PlayStation Vita a little bit, and I got to the point a little after we rescued Fuka from Tartarus. So now that Mitsuru has been in the party, I can see ice magic, she can heal, she's good with the rapier, and yeah, she's pretty much Weiss's contemporary there. Or I should say Weiss is her contemporary. I'm not sure as to what else is about this character, and that being said, I was thinking maybe putting it off until I finish the game to avoid spoilers, but then I'm like, you know what, it's fine. That doesn't really bother me all that much. I'll still enjoy playing the game no matter what they may say here. I know that there'll be some spoilers, but it'll be fine. Mainly because if I put it off until I get the actual game finished, you're not going to be seeing this reaction for a while. So I want to get this done. I want to see it happen and see where they go from here. That being said, while I will be rooting for Weiss, I am pretty sure Mitsuru's going to win. Based on what I know about Persona games, they end up going like head to head with god tier villains, you know. Weiss hasn't done anything quite like that yet. There is upcoming battles in RWBY that may end up being that case, and I know Mitsuru wouldn't have done it on her own, but and you know, Weiss has some healing, but really serious wounds she requires an infusion of aura, as demonstrated in previous seasons, in previous volumes. But yeah, Mitsuru has healing magic, she's good with a sword, ice magic, she can summon a persona, so she's got that kind of ability as well. Weiss can summon various creatures that she's defeated, and while Mitsuru doesn't have only has the one persona, not like a protagonist of a Persona game, they seem to be pretty similar. So rooting for Weiss. I think Mitsuru is probably going to win just based on what I know about Persona games, having played 4 and 5. But yeah, let's see what they've got to say. Let's see how this battle goes. As always, the link in the description below. Be sure to support their official channel over at Death Battle. And let's get it going in 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright. Guess they're going to RTX. I'd like to go there sometime, but it's in Texas. Yeah, I'm not going to go across country. Maybe.
They're as cold as ice. They're willing to sacrifice.
Today, we're pitting together 2 queens of ice born into powerful, if troubled, families.
Weiss Schnee, heiress to the Schnee Dust Company and member of the Huntress Team RWBY.
And Mitsuru Kirijo, heiress to the Kirijo group and member of the Persona-wielding Seas.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our
So
job
she's an
to
heiress
analyze
as
their
well. I
weapons,
didn't get
armor,
that
and
far.
skills to find out who would win
All right, fair enough.
a death battle. The world of Remnant is known for many things. The vicious creatures called Grimm, the hunters and huntresses committed to fighting them, and the Schnee family.
Yeah, they're kinda like royalty, and their princess is Weiss Schnee. As the heiress to the family company, she grew up in a pretty cold home. Pun intended.
The Schnee family expected a lot from Weiss. It was considered essential that she live up to their highly influential name.
Too bad for them, she had her own plans.
Rejecting her father's wishes to remain at home, Weiss left to attend Beacon Academy and train to become a huntress, literally putting the W in Team RWBY. Within just a year, Weiss established her own name for herself,
Sorry
saving
about
the
that.
kingdom on more than one occasion, and doing so with her trusty blade, Myrtanaster.
And that's my cue. Merc Nasty here is a multi-action rapier with a 3-foot-long blade.
Nasty,
But
yeah,
guess
sure,
what?
that's what it's called.
Also a gun. Instead of a plain old crossguard, it's got a 6-slot revolver-style chamber that Weiss fills with bullets colored like the rainbow.
Well, they're not exactly bullets. They are vials of dust, which she can fire to enhance her weapon and skills. Ironically, the Schnee Dust Company is by far one of the largest producers and exporters of dust.
Wait. They sell dust? I got a ton of that shit covered in the bookshelf in my trailer. I could sell it and finally have enough money to buy a second bookshelf. Just farm, here I come.
No, not that kind of dust. In the world of Remnant, dust is an energy source, often used to fuel vehicles, androids, and weapons. Wait, you have books?
When did I say anything about books?
The shelf is covered
Long
in
story
dust.
short,
Yes, you
there
never
are
said
four
a
main
book.
types of dust: air, lightning, fire, and water.
And Weiss likes to mix water and air together for her favorite, ice dust.
And that is why they call you the Ice Queen.
She can also attack with fire, launch a windstorm, block attacks with barriers, and many other techniques. Needless to say, Myrtanaster is a surprisingly versatile weapon.
She also uses dust to boost her semblance, which is basically her X-Men superpower. Weiss gets hers from her family line and can do a bunch of stuff with it.
She can make glyphs on surfaces or in the air, each with a different color denoting its ability. Black glyphs hold things in place, while white ones propel things forward. Also, by infusing glyphs with dust, she can manipulate their effects. For example, a touch of lightning dust lets her dilate time, dramatically increasing her speed.
Or even better, she can use the glyphs to summon
I'm even learning the
monsters
rules
to aid her
here.
in battle, Beastmaster style, like this crazy boar, a giant killer wasp, and the Armagigas.
Which literally translates to
I didn't know
giant
that the
armor
time
in
dilation
Latin,
required
so
lightning dust.
Fitting.
Damn, just imagine how great her family could be if they all didn't hate each other. Unlimited dust, giant bodyguards you can summon anytime, and they'd never be stuck with warm beer.
Unfortunately, the Schnee family does suffer from some rocky relationships, with the exception of Weiss and her older sister, Winter.
Wait, go back. Is her dad Colonel Sanders?
I guess there's a certain resemblance.
AFC,
Yeah, a little bit.
KF, Schnee? No wonder they're so rich.
Where did you get that chicken?
What, you don't carry pocket chicken?
So, back on topic, Weiss has a very powerful and
Pocket
versatile
chicken is
ability,
very useful,
and like
yes.
most semblances, it's powered by her aura.
Which is like an invisible shield around her body. She's basically unkillable while it's up.
Though the aura itself isn't indestructible, it can be depleted after taking a lot of damage and needs time to restore itself. Without it, she cannot use her semblance, and she's much more vulnerable.
But that aura is pretty friggin' tough. It was just enough to take a full-on hit from a geyser of lava.
Lava can reach temperatures up to 1200 degrees Celsius, enough to melt iron.
That's
and during
useful.
a food fight of all things, she was thrown into a pillar so hard it was obliterated.
Hey, Wiz, I've been in a few food fights in my time, and that shit gets intense. And that one's tame by comparison.
But greatest
I'm
of
sure.
all, with a combination of ice and her aura, she survived riding atop a speeding train crashing through concrete. By measuring the diameter of the resulting hole and applying the values of fragmentation, this means Weiss survived an impact equal to over 7 tons of TNT.
But it's not just Weiss that's tough. Her glyphs are strong
And
enough
helped
to
her team
catapult
survive
the
that too,
Armagigas.
yes.
And with her ice powers, she's knocked around a giant mech built for fighting Godzilla-sized Grim.
Compared to the height of her teammate nearby, it appears she created over 2,000 metric tons of ice. Obviously, that much ice doesn't fit into 2 vials of dust. She's likely using the ocean as a base to exert fusion energy and vaporization energy on the nitrogen in the air.
And here we
thereby
go with
freezing it
math.
Like so.
Ah.
Most, this would require over 900 billion joules of energy, equivalent to detonating around 230 tons of TNT.
Wow,
Well, hell.
no wonder she could push that big old robot around. Plus, Weiss can also move super quick, dodging missiles and even hitting bullets out of the air.
And with time dilation, she can stay nearly untouchable while taking out her opponents in the blink of an eye.
Like that old saying, float like an inner tube on a lazy river and sting like your pee in the morning.
In the manga, she
go to
can
a doctor.
use glyphs to pull
Throughout
meteors
her
from
journey,
space.
Weiss has overcome all sorts of
I don't
dangers.
know,
but
really,
her
did it
most
say it was
difficult
non-canon,
test may
really?
have been the moment
Officially?
her father cut her out of the family, leaving her financially broke and dismissed from her birthright.
Ah, boo-hoo, no more allowance. Still, she's powered through and made a name for herself as a huntress. With the RWBY team at her back, I think she's found the family she truly belongs to.
Very true. And they probably have Kara voicing her in this.
In the early 2000s, you'd be hard-pressed to find
just
someone in
thinking about
Japan
that.
who didn't know of the Kirijo Group, a global conglomerate involved in nearly every aspect of daily life. And the heiress to this impressive company was a young girl named Mitsuru Kirijo.
But unknown to her, the family company was into some pretty sketchy stuff. Her grandpa
Yeah,
started
imagine that.
experimenting with some sort of mental world called the Mind Place.
Or more officially, the collective unconscious, a realm connected to every living being's subconscious mind. And within the collective unconscious dwells shadows, fragments of human psyche which often appear as malevolent monsters.
They're basically demons.
Kind of. However, there's another sort more directly integrated with the minds of individual people, effectively becoming their
Well, now you got
shadow
Persona
selves.
4.
So some of them are demons who want to kill you, and some of them are demons who are part of your brain?
Close
The
enough.
gameplay mechanics
Gramps
between
tried
3
to
and
get
4
the
are pretty
shadows for
similar.
himself, but as anyone who's tried to summon demons will tell you, don't do that. Trust me, it never works out. And when it does,
You speak from
doesn't.
experience.
Chaos Incarnate erupted. The resulting explosion from his experiment released the shadows into reality to prey on an unsuspecting populace, and unveiled the Tartarus, a citadel between worlds. The Earth was drastically changed with a new dark hour, an extra hour of time occurring at
So
midnight.
her family is also
Folks didn't
responsible
notice,
for
though,
a lot
the
of
world basically
strife within the
freezes in
world.
time during the dark hour, including people.
I'll talk about that in
So
a
nobody's got to
later.
pick up a new
Probably after
25-hour
the battle.
clock, because when the hour runs up, everything continues like nothing happened. It's like getting an extra hour of secret sleep.
But some people are able to operate during this hour, including Mitsuru, which she decided to take full advantage of.
Yeah, she felt pretty guilty about her family basically ruining everything and sending hundreds of murder monsters into the world. So
Yeah,
she
I
sort of
probably
fixed
would
her
too.
Grandpappy's mess.
And while she's certainly skilled
I didn't
with a
know her
rapier
family
thanks
was
to her
behind
time
all
in
that
fencing
crap,
club,
but
a single
all
sword
right.
would never be enough to combat the hordes of shadows. Luckily, her first experience with the Dark Hour helped her out in this regard.
That's one way to put it. She and her dad were almost murdered by spooky shadows.
But this event also led to an awakening. With the threat of death itself mere seconds away, Mitsuru dug deep within and found a new weapon, her shadow self.
And that's how she became a person user.
Persona user.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Thanks to this fateful night, Mitsuru can summon a manifestation of her personality known as a persona. This was Penthesilea, who would eventually
Well, her father
evolve
seems
into
to
her
care.
ultimate form, Artemisia.
Artie is the best non-imaginary friend you could ask for. She's got all sorts of powerful ice spells. She can heal Mitsuru's wounds. She can drain someone's energy and add it to Mitsuru's own. And she can blow people up
Useful.
with mega deal. It's a big purple kaboom that ignores special defenses. Anyway, and to top it all off, she's got a kinky
so-
ass whip.
While Artemisia cannot really
The
be
glyphs
killed,
wouldn't
she
stand
does
up to that?
have her limits. When a persona is overtaxed
wonder if they could
or takes
bypass
too much
her
damage,
protection-
it
Weiss's
becomes
protection
broken
glyphs.
and unusable for a short time.
And since Artemisia is technically part of Mitsuru's mind, when the persona gets hurt, so does she.
But this connection also grants Mitsuru her own set of special powers. She's physically superior to most others. She can also sense the locations of people and layouts of buildings through analytical clairvoyance. She's also immune to ice and the cold, so I'm not really sure why she needs that giant fur coat.
Everyone needs a good fur coat, Wiz. Come on.
I guess. It is a pretty nice coat. Anyway, Mitsuru wasn't going into battle alone. She gathered a team of
Which
persona
she wasn't
users to
wearing
form the
when I've been
Specialized
playing the game,
Extracurricular
but whatever.
Execution Squad, or SEAS, which is much easier to say. The team set out to explore Tartarus, combat the shadows, and put an end to the Dark Hour, while also scoring some extra credit because it was technically an after-school club.
Japanese schools are way more hardcore than ours.
And with a team at her back, Mitsuru needed a tool to reliably summon personas with. And so came the Evoker, which might be a little
you gotta shoot
disturbing
yourself
to
in
some
the head.
people, so Fair warning.
But,
Yeah, it
yeah.
looks just like a gun, and that's kind of the point. The idea is to use the gun to create an extremely traumatic experience similar to how Mitsuru first evoked her own persona.
Specifically, this is accomplished by aiming the thing at your face and pulling the trigger.
Yeah, that's definitely not how guns are supposed to work.
Questionable concepts aside, Mitsuru
Yeah.
and her persona are an absolute terror.
That is
on
kind
the
of a
battlefield.
questionable concept.
Oh, God! Did she just cut off that thing's dick?
Yes, she did, Boomstick, and it was a goddamn cannon.
Oh, the horror, but also cannon dick.
Mitsuru is quick enough to dodge gunfire. Heck, another
You
persona
jealous?
user is even fast enough to outrun a bullet fired by a magnum.
Those usually have a muzzle velocity of over 360 meters per second.
And personas can move even faster. Naoto's could react to and catch an arrow in milliseconds, and Mitsuru has defeated her in battle.
But hey, how about that time Mitsuru and her whole team survived an explosion that totally wrecked this whole bridge? Now, in my humble opinion, using my very own handcrafted munitions
Most likable,
measurement chart,
Michael Bay.
I'd say this
We're
blast
better than
falls
sex.
somewhere in the range of, oh shit, we're dead.
Interesting, but let's use some real
Interesting
science
graph.
This is real science. I tested explosions and their real effects on real people just like you would. I'm a real scientist now.
now. But that's... Wait, real people? Boomstick? Where are the interns?
Hey, look, I got you that coat that you wanted.
Ooh, thank you! Oh, it's so soft.
Completely distracted.
But hey, Wiz, there's one more math thing you gotta do. By working with another Persona user, Yukari, Mitsuru helped freeze up this giant, creepy puppet monster.
Well, again, taking nitrogen into account as it comprises 70% of air's makeup, we can apply its required fusion energy and vaporization energy. To find this feat would need an energy output equal to 60 kilotons of TNT. Though this can't all be attributed to Mitsuru, as she did have help.
That's still a hell of a lot of ice. Mitsuru and Artemisia
So,
sure make a powerful
Call
pair.
it half.
And even after successfully ending the Dark Hour and redeeming her family name, Mitsuru continued battling for people everywhere, one shadow at a time.
This appears to be just the beginning.
All right, the combatants are set,
All right.
and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, I'm all out of pocket chicken, so let's get something better. With
All right,
Blue
here we
Apron.
go. I'll talk about it after the battle. The similarity, like I'm wondering if Monty Ohm had inspiration from Mitsuru with Weiss. Now, I wouldn't say Weiss's family caused the problems with the monsters, but they're sure feeding that fire with the questionable practices that they do with mainly with the faunus, and that's just driving more people apart, and it's making it harder and harder to bring world peace and put a stop to Salem. So they're not directly responsible with creating the Grimm, but they're sure as hell not making them weaker. That's how I see it, anyway. Let me know what you think on that. That's basically what I wanted to say, and I may have to just mute this whole section so you could hear what the hell I was talking about. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
But right now, it's time for a death battle!
Alright. Let's go. And they're already fighting.
Such good form. You fight with a sense of ease. Thank you, but flattery will get you nowhere.
Yep, and it's her. Of course it is. Wonder if this is Mitsuru's voice actress. Yeah, ice does nothing to her. You have other things you can
Fighting with
use.
ice. Ironic. And a waste of time. Artemisia!
They didn't even begin the battle. It just right off the bat. There's no begin or fight. Fire, useful.
Can't touch me, Ice Queen! Huh, so that's what it's like.
This just looks beautiful. Distracted Weiss. Graceful. He's a useful guy to have around.
As this was, I have to admit, you fought valiantly. But now, you'll fall by my own hand!
I can do this on my own.
Artemisia! No mercy!
Oh shit. What was...
How strong are you?
Strong enough.
And healed. Ah, crap. Yeah, that's about what I thought would happen.
KO! Well, Wiz,
It's a pity,
glad
but...
we got these coats, because that was cool.
Weiss was incredibly skilled. Her versatility certainly proved a challenge for Mitsuru, and she held a decent advantage in speed thanks to time dilation. Though to be fair, Mitsuru's analytical clairvoyance meant it would have been pretty difficult for Weiss to get the jump on her. Plus, Naota's persona had to move around Mach 7 to catch that arrow in such a short amount of time, so Artemisia must be capable of similar speeds.
Yeah, but slowing down time seems like an instant win move, doesn't it?
In some ways, yes, but we look for who can win the most matches overall, not just a couple times out of 1,000 possibilities thanks to one good move.
Yeah, even though Weiss had plenty of attack options, Mitsuru's defenses were just too strong. Like how she completely canceled Weiss's ice attacks.
This presented a
True.
unique problem for Weiss, who has always been fairly reliant on ice techniques. She was forced to use dust, which she has less experience with.
Plus, Weiss and her summons have never dealt damage anywhere close to that oh shit we're dead explosion that Mitsuru survived. By taking the diameter of the blast here and comparing it to real-life nukes, then considering how far Mitsuru was from the center of it, she took a hit worth over 21 tons of TNT. Definitely higher than Weiss's 7-ton train feat.
Frankly, Mitsuru's survivability and power output
Alright.
outclassed Weiss. Even if we cut her major ice feat in half since she was aided by Yukari, Mitsuru
Right.
still output 130 times more energy than Weiss when she attacked that mech.
Yeah.
But numbers aren't everything, right?
Sure, there's always a new way to look at things. For instance, Weiss's arsenal was limited by her aura and dust supply, while Mitsuru had no such constraint on her own powers.
It takes a long time to restore aura, and remember, when a persona gets broken, it can just come back a few seconds later.
Which was extremely useful, as Artemisia could heal Mitsuru at any
Oh,
time,
that look in Weiss-
doing
on Weiss's
whatever
face.
progress Weiss had made.
Oh man, what an ice-cold move.
While Weiss's speed and versatility put up a good
Hey,
fight, Mitsuru's
those look
greater
like
defense,
bathrobes.
raw power, and more
Not fur
reliable
coats.
arsenal proved too much for the Huntress.
She had no chance.
The winner is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for watching Death Battle. Don't go away just
Unfortunate,
yet. We're
but-
about to announce the next fight. And if you haven't seen the latest episode of our podcast, the Death Battle Cast, you can click it right there.
Alright, who do we got next? Versus... Alright. Yeah, I've played... I'm not too familiar with Falcon. I don't think that's his entire name. That's why I'm not too familiar. Like, I know... I've played, and I'm also not too familiar with Cage. have played Mortal Kombat though, so there's that. Okay, it's unfortunate, but that's about how I thought it would go based on what I know of the feats that are considered normal in Persona. But yeah, as I was saying before, very similar backstory, very similar things, except Mitsuru's father seems to actually care about her. Whatever. So that was good, though. They didn't really disclose a lot of things, like the finale of the major spoilers of the game that I'm playing don't seem to be here. There's some spoilers about the backstory of the character, which is fine. Do not talk about anything else from the game for me, okay? In the comments, just don't. That'd be really much appreciated. But yeah, as I was saying before, I'm wondering if Montiome had taken some inspiration from Mitsuru. The family history, and Mitsuru's family is directly responsible for unleashing these monsters upon the world. Weiss's family, while not responsible for it, sure isn't helping it, despite what they may claim with their dust production and supplying people with weaponry and dust and everything. It's not like they're creating such a rift between humans and faunus with their business practices and creating people like Adam that it's just making things worse. At least, like I had said, at least that's how I see it. So they didn't create the monsters, but they're sure not helping put them down. Which I don't think the monsters would ever, because the monsters, the Grimm were around before Salem, when the God of Destruction was, when the younger brother God was there. So I think the Grimm will still be around even after they deal with Salem. Okay, so yeah, that was that. Like I had said, that's about how I thought it would go, unfortunately. Really cool looking battle, fun to watch. Weiss is graceful and adorable as always, but she just couldn't hold up. I guess that's just one more fight that she lost, huh? Oh well. Well, until next time, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to support Death Battle. The link to the original video is in the description below. And I'm going to end this one here. Until next time. Take care.